Okay, and got it. Okay, can you see my PowerPoint presentation? Okay, great. So my presentation agenda includes introduction to self-determination across the life course, and then which early childhood practitioners come in, and how we can implement self-determination instruction culturally responsive and sustaining ways. And I want to end with the supported decision making because it's really important iteration in California. So that's what I want to end my presentation with. And then if you have questions, feel free to type in the chat. I have very short time, so I would appreciate if you type in chat, and then Marissa and Amber can chime in, if I'm not responding to the chat. Okay. So here, this is the figure that shows how students with disabilities can achieve positive post-secondary outcomes, meaning that how students with disabilities can obtain, reach the future goals that envision. Specifically, better college attendance, more access to integrated community employment opportunities with higher wages, better health, better social and community engagement, and then less likely to get into criminal offense. So these are really important that starting early. So the figure shows you that for students with disabilities to get to the positive outcomes after high school, it needs to start at the early intervention, birth to 2. So I kind of put already the pink circles around the key research-based key predictors for positive outcomes after high school, which are inclusion, family school partnerships, and culture responsive and sustained practices. And then in this presentation, I want to address self-determination, because self-determination and involving students in their IEP or in their individualized family service plan and an IEP and the transition plan. Those are also key predictors based on research that we know with a confidence that will help students with disabilities get to the future that they envision. So again, type in chat, what role would you like to play in the lives of students with disabilities? As an early childhood practitioner, a family member, or a person who works with the students with disabilities or children with the disabilities, what role do you want to play? A mentor, influencer, an educator. Great. What else? Advocate, to inspire. Great. Person who works with children with an educator, mentor. Partner, yes. Thank you, Amber. Yeah, partner. Learner, great, I like that. Yeah, but what kind of educator do you want to be? I understand you're getting in a license. Accessible educator, great. Supporter, awesome. Responsive, great. Who makes a difference? Awesome. Equity focused educator, right? Yes. Well, thank you, Marissa. Right? Like we are here to be, educator, but what kind of educator do you want to be? Inclusive educator, inclusive. Listener, okay, great. inclusive, collaborative, trauma-informed. Wow, good one. Yes, right? These are really important, heart-centered. Oh, that's first time hearing that. Awesome. These are really important to know, to be aware when you work with students. And I would like to kind of anchor those what you just shared with me with the self-determination instruction. Great. So what do you think? What student will need after high school? Learned helplessness or dignity of risk? Which one do you think they will need? Learned helplessness or dignity of risk? Or do you know what learned helplessness means? Oh, yeah, people tell dignity of risk. Dignity of risk. Okay, great. Sorry. So learned helplessness, maybe you have heard or maybe you have not heard, but you might have heard similar concept. So as the word indicates, students with disabilities across the range of support needs. We tend to, I work with the students with extensive support needs. We tend to create students feel helpless. They're just waiting for other people to help them, because that's how the education system makes them. But when after K through 12 education system, self-advocacy, choice making, decision making, these gonna be really important when they go to post-secondary education or employment or community living. On the other hand, dignity of risk is, the idea is that even people with disabilities have a right to challenge, to be adventurous, to do what they want to do, and then make a mistake and learn from those mistakes. In special education, how we set up is that we prevent making mistakes. The adults step in so often that the children cannot be adventurous. But obviously, I'm not saying that they should just, drive off the cliff and then fail and then, laugh about it. I'm talking about that we adults in the special education create a safe environment, safe learning environment, so that the students with disabilities can be advocate for themselves and then be the CEO of their own learning, goal chaser. So the dignity risk is really important idea that we want to start from early childhood. And do you know who she is? Yeah. And her mom, Amanda's mom, said every child has a gift. It just has to be discovered. Where there's a deficit, there's a place where the child makes it up. So if we're only looking at the deficit of students with disabilities and it makes them feel helpless, but we know that students with disabilities have a lot of strength and assets to offer. So while we're looking at their strengths and assets, and that will lead to dignity of risk or promoting dignity of risk. Amanda shared that because some words are difficult for her to pronounce, so she needs to find different words still intact to the concept that she wants to share. But in that process, her poems become more strong, stronger, and unique. So she's using the speech barriers, speech support needs to make her asset, strength of as a poet, stronger. So I just want to, make sure that we understand the strength-based, asset-based approach to dignity risk, because it's really linked to self-determination. Okay, so the reason why I'm confidently talking about self-determination is that for the 30 years of research, we know that higher degree of self-determination will lead to positive outcomes after high school, or during a school and then after high school, including a better progress in general education curriculum, academic goal attainment, and more likely that they have a better post-secondary outcomes, including access to post-secondary education, competitive integrated employment, community participation, and then after all, better quality of life. We all want to have a quality of life. So we the better higher self-determination levels will lead to better quality of life. So let's talk about definition of self-determination. So what word comes to your mind when you think of self-determination? What word comes to your mind when you think of self-determination? Confidence, resilient, perseverance, focus, choice-making, agency, having passion, identity of self. Oh, cool. Choice, independent, resilience, expectation, grit, and perseverance, independence. Oh, cool. Oh, willingness, agency. Yeah. What does blinded resolve mean? That's the first one I hear. If you want to type in chat, that's a great. Drive. Good. Yeah, you got it. Right. So is it internal thing or external thing? Mentally strong. Yeah. Is it internal or external? Internal, right? So the point is that it's hard to judge from outside because it's an internal thing. But being self-determined means acting or causing things to happen as you set and work toward goals in your life. Oh, okay. Thank you. Resolve that one's aware of and unaware. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So being self-determined means acting or causing things to happen as you set and work toward goals in your life. This means that if you use wheelchair and then, for example, if you're using wheelchair and then you have a difficulty with the mobility, navigating the environment, but you want to get great bagel from the bagel shop. Causing thing meaning that you don't need to actually go get the bagel that you like. You can advocate, you can use your supporter, you can communicate to the supporter, hey, I want this type of bagel, go get me one, here's money. So self-determined meaning that anybody with or without disabilities, no matter how old you are, can be self-determined because you can be causal agent, causing things to happen. So you don't need to actually the person who's doing it. So that's why I said acting or causal, causing things to happen. And then I get a lot of questions from family members, especially, or teachers, goals. oh, my child can never be teacher or cannot be ever be astronaut. And then like, no, when this says goals, but it does not mean the career option. It can mean anything to the person. So for example, I need to do laundry today or tomorrow. So that's my goal, to do laundry on the weekend. So goals can be defined by daily base or long-term or short-term, but based on your lifestyle, based on your needs, based on your strengths, based on your preferences. So when we talk about goals, we're not talking about career option, not necessary career options. Okay. And then again, you don't need to do this all alone with the supports, appropriate supports that you may need. For example, who uses Google Map to go to place A to place B? I actually use a Google Map on the campus because I don't know where whatever the building is. I only know Berkeley now, but to get to some like random building on campus, I need to use Google Map. So, Google Map is my support. So you don't need, being self-determined means that you don't need to do this alone. You can rely on supporters or support technology. And self-determination is, again, internal thing, dispositional characteristic manifested by acting or causing things in your life. And then self-determination is a basic human right for all people with and without disabilities. We are born self-determined. But if there are no supports, if there are no opportunities for us to act or cause things to happen, then we are deemed not to be self-determined. Especially students with extensive support needs tend to be deemed that they're not self-determined, or they cannot be self-determined because of their significant support needs. But everybody is already self-determined and can strengthen, grow, develop their self-determination. Any questions so far? Okay, so let's talk about how self-determination emerges and develops across the life course. Like I said, self-determination emerges, develops across the life course in conjunction with the life experiences. So precursors to self-determination skills and abilities occur during a childhood. And then with the life experiences, daily things that they experience, they become more self-determined. And then during the school years, they develop essential characteristics of self-determination that make the students with or without disabilities to be better causal agent in their lives. But because of the environmental expectations, even adults without disabilities feel that they are not self-determined. They cannot be self-determined because, the demands of life, like if you are parent, then like your kids' schedules dominate your schedule, then you feel like you don't have a say, or you don't have a control, you don't have an ownership of your schedule. So there are like a lot of life experiences and demands from environment really interact with how you feel you're self-determined. And then later in adulthood, when, even if you are capable person, by aging, you may feel more likely that you're not self-determined, or you feel less empowered to be self-determined because of aging, because of mobility issues, and something like that. But yeah, it develops. And then maybe how we engage in self-determined actions look different across the life course. But here is the cycle of how we can promote self-determination in our own teaching and instruction. First, we teach the abilities and skills associated with the self-determination, including choice-making, decision-making, problem-solving, goal-setting, planning, all the skills. But not only just teaching those skills and abilities, we need to provide opportunities for students to use and practice these skills and make mistakes and then change the course of action. And of course, with right supports and accommodations. If students need a communication device to engage in self-advocacy or choice-making, then they need a communication device to do so. If they need a peer support to self-manage the calendar skills, then that's the support that students with disabilities need. So this cycle of self-determination, we know that works, and then produce and facilitate students with disabilities engage in self-determined actions with more confidence. So here are some ideas, but you can kind of chime in the chat. So self-determination, how does it look like during preschool years? Maybe teachers can support easy goal setting. Like, oh, which clothes do you want to wear? Looking at the outside weather, do we need a jacket? Or we don't need a jacket? We do that calendar circle time. That's easy goal setting. Give opportunities to learn and practice self-regulation. We tell preschoolers, hey, where your hands should be touching your friends or should be on your lap, right? Self-regulation. And offer lots of opportunities to make choices. For example, during snack time, it's really easy, right? Like, what do you want to eat? This or that, or what order do you want to eat? And pose broad questions related to future goals. What do you want to be when you're growing up? And expose the different jobs in community. You know, like you have a career day, you know, like you invite people or you read the picture books and then like, here, they're a firefighter, police officer, nurse, and then veterinarian, astronaut. You read a lot of picture books. So you kind of introduce jobs in the community in that way. Or pretend to play, right? Like they're pretending to be something. So that's one way to expose them to different jobs. And offer age-appropriate social problem solving. You know, like my friend is being mean to me, and then the teacher goes like, you know, so how is this happen? You know, like talking about social situation, difficult situation, but navigating these social situations, you know, problem solving. So these are kind of ideas and suggestions that I came up with. But what do you think that like, I know, I will actually come back. So think about what other strategies or practices you already are doing or you may be wanting to do. And then when you come up, you can type in chat. Okay, so this is one example that I want to share with you.
Anna, what are your choices? Fish or juice? Juice. What do you want?
Can you hear? Okay, yeah.
Anna, what are your choices? Fish or juice? Juice. What do you want?
I what? Fish.
Anna wants fish. Okay, one more choice. What are your choices? Fish, popcorn, or juice? What do you want?
I juice.
I want juice. Thanks for telling me, Anna.
Anna was working on the just the sentence strip, the structure of sentences and adding words, because she usually speaks with one words and now she's talking in sentences. She's able to request items. So she's working hard, and her dad works hard with her at home.
So you have seen this change over the
Mhm.
course of the year? Is
Definitely.
that due to this learning the self-determination skills?
I think the learning self-determination skills played a part in it, because in the beginning, Anna had some behaviors, but with having the self-determination, she's realized, I have this power. This is who I am. And the more she was able to communicate, the behaviors decreased. So I think the self-determination really played a part in that.
Is there a moment when you know that what you're doing as far as teaching those self-determination skills, it really hits home to you?
Oh, definitely. It's like each day I realize that my kids are becoming more independent. So, they're getting off the bus. Sometimes they'll just walk down I don't even have to hold hands anymore. It's like they know where they're going. They know when they walk into the classroom, I need to take my book bag off. This is where it goes. I check my schedule. They know, they're like on it. Sometimes they keep me in check when I'm like, oh, what are we doing today? But yeah, they definitely know.
Okay, so that's one example from the preschool. Yeah, give choices. Yeah. So this is another slide about early elementary school, that there are kind of strategies and then practices that teachers can do with students during elementary school years. And if you have more ideas, share in the chat. So again, that during preschool, it's more like a basic age appropriate self-determination opportunities. But now elementary school, especially toward the end of the elementary school years, the students can, teachers can support students to set daily goals related to personal, academic, behavior, and teach to manage and monitor their daily goals. Oh, Lauren, natural opportunities for independence, toys and materials in their reach, having classroom rules. Yeah, great. Having classroom rules is great. And giving opportunities to think about supports and strategies that are helpful for them to be successful. Self-awareness, self-advocacy, self-regulation. And teach to use a calendar. The teacher in the early, the early childhood teacher was talking about calendar, daily schedule. It's very important because even as an adult, I heavily rely on my calendar. Without calendar, I don't function. So it's okay to start introducing that. And it teach self-awareness, self-advocacy, and then start involving them in the IEP planning process. When I say planning process, does not mean IEP meetings, because the sharing what they can do, what they're good at, what supports they need, or goals development, a really important part of IEP planning process. And continue to pause broad questions about their future goals and then different jobs in community. Yeah, a preschool, I would like to classroom jobs. Yes, classroom jobs are really important thing to teach their responsibilities, share the responsibility, problem solving, collaboration skills too. Great. So let's look at, I think it is also important to think about. Okay, yeah, hold on to that. We will talk about it later. Great point. And then there are more, sorry. You know what? I hid elementary school video, but I think it might be useful for you to watch that. So let me show you the elementary school too. Okay. Share screen. So this is another example, but elementary school context.
There might be, aside from not liking it, some roadblocks that hit us on our way. And we talked about a lot of roadblocks. You guys were really honest with me about the things that keep you from doing your best sometimes. And we've got all kinds of things here. And so what I did is I put these out, not knowing how, arguing with friends.
What would a roadblock be for you, Dakota?
My Xbox,
Why is that a roadblock?
because I wouldn't get anything done.
And how do you get over those roadblocks?
Just say to yourself, don't do that. Just do what you're supposed to do.
And as an adult, sometimes it's not the easiest thing to set a goal and meet it. It's, you know, it's a process. It's not just like, you know, it's not just wanting something. It's really a process of working through, you know, obstacles to meeting your goal.
Yeah. So you can tell this video was created long time ago because I don't think a lot of kids nowadays play Xbox, but I hear high school students actually needing to, sorry, take my. So in Kansas, one high school, the entire high school is promoting self-determination instruction, students with and without disabilities. And then one high school male student said, you know, my iPhone is my barrier to do homework. So as a solution, he thought about asking his mom to hold it. And then even if he is like wanting to use his iPhone, like his mom has to say no until like he's done with the homework. You know, this is high school student, but it's really important to like knowing what are barriers to your goal, and then coming up with the strategies to go over to overcome those barriers. Yeah. Okay. So I have middle school and high school strategies, but you know, you can read it in the PDF. And then why we're talking about it, yeah, as an adult, you can relate that. So why self-determination is important from early on is that it's related to everything that you need as a person, like community living, health and wellness, academic, career, employment, social communication, safety and security, a support network, and religion and spirituality, and the relationships. So like it's important that by the time the students with disabilities leave high school, they need to be able to do, they're expected to have abilities and skills in many different domains because they are going to be adult. But obviously with the supports, you know, like everybody relies on other people, family members, friends. But just to remember that, you know, everybody's relying on support, but also we want students with disabilities to be successful in different life domains when they leave high school. Okay, so Marissa, can you tell me how many minutes do I have? 10 minutes or 5 minutes?
I think 5 to 10 minutes is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we're Amber and I are chatting about the schedule. So
Okay. So somebody already talked about culture, which is great point because intersectionality of culture and social identities really directly influence how we engage in self-determination or how we even define self-determination. You know, the United States is the very individualistic country, but I'm sure you work with a lot of students with disabilities from diverse cultural and linguistic backgrounds. So we want to know that students, not only students, but families and then their supporters have a different perspectives and experiences related to self-determination. And so we know that families have shared that how school defines self-determination, choice making, decision making, problem solving, often different from how home, life, families define self-determination. And then also inequitable supports and opportunities available to families, especially from minoritized groups. They have limited opportunities or supports or resources. So we need to understand that when we promote self-determination at school, we communicate and collaborate with the families so that they can access to support and opportunities that they need. And then we know that from the research, a lot of family members, no matter where they are from, they value the idea of self-determination. But how we execute, how we engage in self-determination is different. And then when we talk about self-determination, any instruction, it's important to start with the teachers starting with the self-reflection. Self-reflecting your own educational journey, identifying privileges, marginalization in your own multiple cultural identities, because it's really important to be culturally responsive and sustaining in any instruction, but especially self-determination, so that you have a commonality with the students. And then you have a PDF, so I'm not going to go over this point to point, but again, going back to, early childhood practitioners are really good at finding good books. So find books, people in your community, people in their student and family community, films, music, and any advocates in their community to talk about how they engage in self-determination. And then also the change agent. We want students with disabilities to be the change agent in their own community, neighborhood, as they want. So connecting with the community, connecting with their cultural backgrounds is really important. And another thing is that celebrate students' progress rather than if they have met goals or not, because the measure of success should be defined by students and families, but the progress should be also celebrated along the way. And then create ways for families to communicate and provide feedback on students' progress by using family preferred means of communication, how often they want to hear from you or how they want to hear from you. And then celebrate I'm sure Amber and Marissa always stress this, but celebrate more often than sharing about the concerns. And then frame family as a broad sense of a community. And then remember, some family members may feel comfortable sharing anything, everything, while other family members may not feel comfortable directly sharing their thoughts, especially authority figures like school people. Okay. So the supported decision-making is enacted, signed and effective in January 2023 in California. I'm saying this because if students start practicing self-determination skills from early on, then when they become 18, age of majority, they don't need to be conservatorship. They don't need to be under conservatorship. You know, like Britney Spears, even she does not have disabilities, she was under conservatorship. And then that limits a lot of opportunities. So the reason why it's important to start early is that when they turn age 18, we want them to be their own guardians. And then right now, because there is a pipeline from school to conservatorship, and then we can stop, educators can stop this pipeline. Okay, so all youth with or without disabilities can participate in dismantling racism, ableism, and then other inequitable systems as they grow in their self-determination abilities and skills and attitude. Okay, this is imdetermined.org. Is a really great website for teachers and practitioners. So if you are interested in how you can implement self-determination instruction in your classroom, please visit imdetermined.org. Okay, that's it. Sorry, did I go over a bit?
You're fine.
Okay.
We have been problem solving and shifting the schedule throughout the day. So thank you so much
Yeah, thank you.
for sharing your wisdom on self-determination.
Yeah.
Do we have time for questions? Mayumi?